Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Man, I haven't sat at this table for a long time. So I haven't made a video in a while, but today there's actually something pretty exciting happening. So recently we've gotten a number of surprisingly good horror movies. We had Smile, Megan was actually good, everyone was talking about Skinamarink, and all of those are great. But there's a new movie that I'm really excited about that I'm going to watch today that most of you guys probably can't watch yet. It's called Talk to Me. If you haven't heard about this movie, it was made by these two brothers that are YouTubers, and I already know what you're thinking. Is this another YouTuber cash grab movie? Apparently not. It's gotten good reviews and it was at Sundance only a few weeks ago. A lot of YouTubers related to movies are extremely proud of these guys. Their channel's name is RackaRacka and they're these crazy Australians. They've made their own video about this thing, and if the guys are watching, well, I mean, let's be honest, they're not watching, but I'm also very happy for them. Anyways, there's not even a trailer for this movie because it's still only limited to film festivals, one of which is the 73rd Berlinale Film Festival, which is going on right now in Berlin. But it will get distributed by A24 sometime in the future. So while every YouTuber is congratulating these guys, I'm actually gonna go watch this thing and tell you guys about the experience. So all of that is great, but what's the movie actually about? Well, when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. I just read that right off the IMDb. So I got my ticket right here. And all we need to do now is wait until 9:30 p.m. Okay, so I'm back. This was actually the European premiere of the film. Didn't know that going in. The RackaRacka brothers, as well as some of the cast and the director of photography, were also there for a Q&A afterwards, and I gotta say, these guys seem really cool. You could feel that they were really excited to have their movie screened, and they also gave some further insight as to what the movie is about and how it came to be. By the way, the person next to me was literally watching the movie like this. So what's this movie like? I will say that it feels very similar to Smile. The story is of course very different, but I have a feeling that if you liked Smile, you're probably going to love this movie as well. Now, I told the brothers during the Q&A that Talk to Me feels like a love letter to a lot of those cheesy possession movies that came out during the early 2010s, but it's a really good version of that. The reason I say that is because this movie does employ a lot of the typical horror tropes that you would see in other possession movies, but they put an interesting twist on things. For example, yes, you do have a bunch of teenagers that are messing around with demons when they really know that they shouldn't. However, by and large, there is a justification for why they do it, despite knowing that they're playing with fire. And the possession element itself has a more symbolic meaning for something that most of us can relate to or at least understand. And it makes sense when you consider the age of the characters. You also have moments like, someone looks in a mirror and sees something creepy, but when they turn around, it's gone. But again, this isn't just used as some meaningless jump scare, but instead, in that case, was relevant and drove the story forward. So to me, it feels like the RackaRacka brothers are horror fans and they wanted to create an actually good version of what a lot of those super low budget possession movies from 10 years ago tried to do. And if you're a horror fan, you'll appreciate that. Unfortunately, this movie isn't even released yet, so I can't talk about story specifics, but I'll try giving you as much information from my experience. I also asked the guys if they were at all apprehensive going into making this movie, because YouTuber movies never really turn out that great, at least not as well as this, and they were basically like, hell no. And part of that is because these guys actually have a background in film. They both worked on the Babadook as runners, and they already had connections in that filmmaking world. So it's not all that surprising that they wanted to make something like this. Now, if you watched the RackaRacka channel, you know that these guys are completely insane and over the top. I mean, I watched their channel for all of 10 minutes, and the most tame thing I could find is them lighting fireworks indoors.
No, no, no,
But they did a great job of holding back with that kind of energy here. If you go into this film not knowing that the filmmakers are YouTubers, you wouldn't really be able to tell from watching the movie. There's only like one small nod to YouTube, but other than that, not at all. Despite their super goofy YouTube videos, this movie has a far more serious tone and there are some great subtle moments. There's one scene in particular where one of the characters sees something scary, but we don't see it and there's no sound effect or anything. You're sitting there watching this person in shock, they're like, what the hell? And you're thinking like, what did they see? What's happening? And I was genuinely amazed at how the same guys who made Ronald McDonald meets Riley Reid 18+ came up with such a subtle, atmospheric, creepy moment. Now that being said, this movie does have moments that are really violent, and the theater I was in was also too loud, so there were moments where it was so loud and so bloody, and it kept going on, and I was just like, wow, okay. Now even though this movie is very much a film festival success story, it's definitely made for a large audience and has a wide general appeal. This is not always the case. Typically movies that do well at festivals like this are not the kind of movies that the general public is interested in. But I think Talk to Me will either be like the horror movie of 2023 or one of the big horror movies of 2023. I really think it's that good. There was only one moment towards the end of the movie where I didn't quite understand what a character was doing. They could have just done something else that would have been quicker, but other than that, I liked it. I'm still amazed that we now have YouTubers that actually make good movies. Guys, this is a possession movie done right. It has a pretty fast and snappy pace while maintaining a serious tone. If you grew up with a lot of possession movies, like me, it will probably make you feel kind of nostalgic. Don't be deceived by its somewhat generic description and go watch it once it comes out. I will watch it again to see if they changed anything. So that's it for this video. Next week there will be a lot more, let's say, normal video for this channel. We're going to check out some creepy psychological horror movies. Anyways, I hope you liked it and that I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.